Hey there, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the single best investment you can make for wealth and long-term happiness. Now, this is something that the greatest investing minds of our generation all agree on. Now, if you saw the title of this video, you probably have some idea of where this is headed, but stick around and I'm going to give you 7 ways that you can start doing this today with no money and expect massive returns, and why this type of investing is always a good idea. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, stick around. Thank you so much for watching. This is The Well-Behaved Wallet, where we talk about mindset, motivation, and making or saving money. Now, if you saw the title of this video, you know that the single best investment you can make is in yourself. And I'm going to tell you why that always pays off and why that is always a good idea. And here's why. Number 1, no one can steal that from you. Number 2, it's something that you control. You're the only person that controls the ups and downs. You know, the stock market has those like highs and lows, bear and bull and whatnot. You control the highs and the lows. And if you play your stock card right, you can have only highs and you can only get better and better and better. It's really only up to you. So here in this video, I'm going to share with you 7 ways that you can start investing in yourself, and again, why it's always a good idea. The reason it's always a good idea is because you are the one in control always. Sometimes it sucks because you got no one else to blame it on if you fail. But the good news is that only you are in charge of whether or not you get back up and make it work. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into those 7 ways. I got them all written down in my handy legal pad. I will put them in the down bar below just for ease and simplicity. And you can hear me sort of share my thoughts and my experience with each of them, and how I do these things. So 7 ways you can invest in yourself and why that's always a good idea. So the first way, number 1, is reading. Reading, it's simple, it's easy, it doesn't cost a penny. It doesn't have to cost a penny if you decide to get fancy and actually buy your books like I started doing. I don't know, that's a little bougie, like buying your books so you can write in them. But reading is always a good idea, and reading will always, always, always pay off. I started doing this kind of with more intention around the end of June, and I've been sort of plowing my way through a book every 2 weeks, which it's a pretty steady pace. It's not super fast, not super slow, but it's better than I was doing. I love reading, but I tend not to be super consistent with reading like good, solid nonfiction, like business books. But I've been more consistent lately, and I can tell you that the quality of my everyday, I just become more productive as a result. And there are some other things going on with my life, and the 75-day challenge, I'll put a link to that right there. You can see more about that. But I can tell you that reading, number 1, hands down, will improve your life and is a great investment because it broadens your horizon. You've probably heard that quote before: in 5 years, you'll be the same person except for the people you meet and the books you read. I don't want to be the same person 5 years from now. I want to be better. I want to be like me 5.0, right? And a surefire way to get there is to read, read, read. So if I can't stress one thing enough, it would be to start reading and keep reading good quality books. Okay, number 2. This also is absolutely free. Write. And more than just sort of like, well, no, I guess sort of any type of writing is good. Computer, like typing, is fine, but it's really productive and useful to write longhand because there's something about connecting. It's like it's like a process that, like a neuroprocessing synapse that fires in your brain when you actually use like your fine motor skills to write out your thoughts. The process of reflection is so beneficial because it makes you sort of distill down what you are taking in and I'm being really articulate, sorry, taking in and processing, and the more that you can sort of reflect on that, the better, and the better synthesized the material will become. So write about what you're reading as well. That is an even better, even more useful means of reflection is to write. Keep a journal. It's a better life if you reflect on it. A life worth living is a life worth reflecting on. So that's always a good idea, is to have something to look back on. You look back on things that you gathered from last week, 5 years ago, a year ago, and you'll really find that there's sometimes like some unexplored real good material there. So I would encourage you to write as a means of reflection and also as a means of gathering that sort of really great raw material. It's like a diamond on earth. Okay, so number 2 is right. Number 3, health and fitness. Now I talk about this one a lot too. That's wealth right there. Health is wealth. And the more you can invest in keeping your body healthy and well functioning, the better off, the happier you'll be. Your outlook is better. You got more endorphins flowing. I mean, I can't say, stress enough of that, enough is that taking care of yourself physically is just as important as taking care of yourself mentally and financially. It really, you can't put a price tag on it, but you're the only one that's in control of your physical body. Like, no one can take over your body for you and make you get healthy. You're the only one in charge of your body. So that is my third tip for sure, is to take the time to invest in yourself to get healthy, both in your diet and in your exercise. So that's number 3. Number 4, title of the channel, be the boss of your money. And the more that you can take charge of your money, the more that you can realize the value of yourself as a manager of your money. You deserve a well-behaved and a well-regulated financial flow. That's why I started this channel, is because I wanted to learn more about it, and I wanted to share what I was learning with people in the community, which has really motivated me and continues to motivate me to invest that time and energy into tracking, into closing out my budgets, into making my budgets at the start of each month, into being accountable with that money, because I know that I'm worth that investment of time and energy and resources. And it's so important to have that, both accountability, but also to have that discipline. And I really feel like taking the time is an investment in you as a person, is an investment in me as a person. So that is hands down a great investment that you can make. So my 5th tip I've spoken about a little bit before, and you don't need to spend money on this, but if you have the opportunity to spend money on this, it's so worth it. And that will be courses or opportunities to learn things or network. And this is kind of exciting because this is something that I have sort of recently in the past 3 years had more experience in actually investing in. So on the topic of like courses and learning, I would say that I grew up with this idea that higher education was a way to get a better job, to get a bigger paycheck, to like work your way eventually to retirement. My mother was always an ongoing learner, and she was always doing, she was really into natural health, naturopathic healing. She was also a massage therapist, so she would be taking courses on the weekend all the time. My dad was a finance major. He was in economics, in his master's in economics. So he was very like head thinking numbers kind of guy, and my mom was more of like a feeling kind of like soft sciences lady. She actually, and then since got her master's in counseling. So for her, education was always ongoing. So I kind of grew up with that mindset from her. But it's only in the past 3 years that I started investing in myself with the purpose of being able to A, help other people more, and B, see financial abundance in return for myself, in return for helping people more. So the first course that actually I take that back. So there are 3 courses that I invested in, and I talk about this in my How I Got Started on eBay video, which I will link right here. And these courses, well, so 2 were a workbook, and then 1 was a course. And the workbooks were the Leonie Dawson, Create Your Amazing and Magical Year, something like that. It's very like hippy dippy kind of thing, but super wonderful and useful. The second one, or the other one that I invested in, was a Michael Hyatt, Create Your Year workbook. That one I did not like as much, but I was happy to have invested the money in the course, because I felt like that process of saying, hey, I'm putting this money in myself because I'm worth it, that process was worthwhile. Even though the course wasn't the greatest, the process of investing in myself was great. So those are the 2 workbooks that I invested in. And then the third thing was that Ramit Sethi course, Earn 1K in a month, Earn 1K. And that's how I started my eBay business, and that was 100% a fabulous decision. That was $1,000, and that was to date the biggest investment that I'd made in myself. and it was super scary. Like I was like on the fence up until like the last minute that the course was about to close. Like I think I bought it at like 11:54 p.m. on a Friday night. I was like, I don't know, it's a lot. And I just did it because I knew that I could make it work. Like I didn't know the quality of the course, but I knew for myself that this would help me move to the next level, and it sure did. And it was really exciting to do. So that is, I can say like hands down that that type of investment is always a good idea. It might be scary, but it's always a good idea. And my next big investment coming up is going to FinCon, which I mentioned before, and I'm so excited to share that experience with you. And I was talking with a friend who recently made an investment in herself as well, and she was like, I don't know, it's like really big and scary, but it's so exciting to hear about other people who are doing that, because you as a result will grow. Like only good things will come of that. Even if the experience is awful, at least it's an experience that you've had that you didn't have at this time last month or last year. And even if it's like a bad experience, it's still growth, if that makes sense. So that is why I always think that the right course with the right outcome and mindset involved is a good investment. If you go into it with this idea that you invest in yourself with the idea of serving other people and creating financial abundance as a result. That's the mindset that I used to go into it, and that's a mindset that has paid off for me. So that is why number 5 is investing in courses is a great investment that you can make in yourself. So I got 2 more. Number 6, the investment that you can make in yourself, a way that you can invest in yourself, is by having healthy relationships. And this is super important. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a lot of them, because I, for one, am like a few and deep kind of girl. Like I roll tight. Like my inner circle is very small. But the friends I have are friends for life, and I really appreciate that. And I have gone through like a lot sort of with myself and having to hold myself accountable for being a good friend. And it, both on a business level and on a personal level, like it, sometimes you have to say like, hey, like I'm not being a very good friend right now, like suck it up, get your life together kind of thing. But it's always a good investment when you invest with the right mindset in other people, when you invest with an attitude toward service and toward giving back. Like how can you contribute to this person, not how can you in a healthy way with healthy boundaries, and create a relationship of healthy interdependence. So number 6 is healthy relationships. And number 7 is kind of exciting, and I'm trying to incorporate more ways to do this personally because it tends to be tough for me. But number 7, a way to invest in yourself, is through play and through just like fun enjoyment of things. For me, because it's summer and we live near the beach, we don't live near the beach. I go to the beach a lot because for me that's like my like happy place, and I literally go and I like play I'm like a big kid. Like I love to be in the water and I love to be in the sun, and it's just I love that sort of unwound and free kind of feeling. I can't pass a swing set without getting on it if I have time. If I make the time to get on a swing set. So I'm trying to cultivate more ways to build play into my life, because I also find that that's so, it's so recharging. It makes you feel recharged and sort of activated and excited and free. And I also find that some of the best ideas and decisions and commitments come when you're coming at them from a state of being playful and excited and energized and charged about life, rather than like sort of this like drudgery that sort of tends to creep into like adult life a little bit. I find that it's helpful to inject an element of play and lightheartedness to your life as well. And I find that that's a great investment for me personally. So those are my 7 ways that you can invest in yourself and how they will always pay off, because you are so worth it. You are worth the investment. Greatest minds of our generation agree. You are a good investment. So in the comments below, please let me know how you invest in yourself, both in a daily way. Let me know if there are any great courses that you recommend or don't recommend. I'd love to hear your experience and your growth and your story. So I so appreciate you sharing. I appreciate you watching, and I hope, as always, that you will keep watching. Bye.